This video explains about how we are going to implement a 2D Hadamard transform using a 1D Hadamard transform. Here we are going to use a 64-point Hadamard transform using a 8-point Hadamard transform. So first we need to arrange inputs into a 8x8 matrix. So the inputs initially arranged from 1 to 8 in the column wise, and then 9 to 16 the second column, so and so on, and the entire inputs are arranged as 8x8 matrix as shown in the Excel. So once we arrange, we need to do a row wise 1D Hadamard transform for 8 point. So initially the row 16, that means the selected row, will gone for the 1D Hadamard transform. It means the Hadamard transform will read the inputs of 1, 9, 17, 25, 33, 41, 49, 57. So in this, the butterfly structures, how it will read will be mentioned in the side by columns. So if it is a Hadamard transform, that means the DIT parameter is 0, it will be reading the inputs as 0 and 4. It means first and 33 as a first input. Next 9 and 41 is a second set of input. Third 17 and 49 is a third set of input, and fifth 25 and 57 is the fourth set of input. So similarly we have to do the 1D Hadamard transform for all 8 rows. So once it finished, we need to do the inverse Hadamard transform. So the inverse Hadamard not inverse Hadamard, we have to do the column wise Hadamard transform. So once the Hadamard transform complete in the row wise, the coefficients are stored in the row wise itself. So we'll read the coefficient in the row wise and we'll store it in the row wise itself. So once we store all 8 rows, it will be finished. We need to do a column wise Hadamard transform now. So it will do the Hadamard transform for 0, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48 and 56. So similarly it has to go for all 8 columns. So once it complete, the 2D Hadamard transform of 64 point will be completed. So here if we want to do the Hadamard transform, we need to read the inputs order as 0, 4, 2, 6, 1, 5 and 3, 7. If it is Walsh Hadamard transform, we have to read the inputs at 0, 4, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7. So if we read in this order, we'll have a Hadamard transform. If we read in this order, we'll have a Walsh Hadamard transform. So based on this structure, we'll move to the Vivado project. We are going to implement the same algorithm in the Vivado. So we'll check on the top module. This is the top module. So the point 64 defines the 64 point, and point 1D8 is defining the 8-point Hadamard transform. So using a 8-point Hadamard transform, we are going to infer a 64-point Hadamard transform. So DIT parameter is defining either a Walsh Hadamard transform or the Hadamard transform. If DIT is 1, it will go for the Hadamard transform. If DIT equal to 0, it will go for the Walsh Hadamard transform as explained in the previous video. So this in is the number of input bits in the samples or the pixel values. The address is representing the number of pixels and the number of pixel addresses. These are the input and output ports. So once we define the input output ports, we need to check the first stage buffer. So to explain about this buffers, we'll just check it. So initially the complete frame is divided into a 64-point subframes. So the first subframe will be read from 0 to 63 clock cycle. So once 0 to 63 is finished, we have to compute the first row of Hadamard transform, which required an input from 1 to 57. So if we need a 57th input after 57th clock cycle, we need. So at 0 to 56 is the 57th clock. So at 56 we can read an input of 1 and 33. So at second 57th clock cycle, we'll read the input of 1 and 41, At that time 57 and 58 inputs are already written into the buffer. So at 56th clock cycle we have to start the operation of Hadamard transform, 1D Hadamard transform. So it will go for the 32 clock cycles. So 56 to 87, the 1D Hadamard transform will be completed, and the results will be stored in the 61 to 96 clock cycle. So if we start reading the inputs at 133 at 56, after 5 clock cycle we will get the output for the 8-point Hadamard transform, so which is defined here. So from 61 to 92 we will get the output of the 1D Hadamard transform. So again, when we start storing the 1D Hadamard transform outputs in the buffer, again at 56 we can able to read the column wise order. This can be done at 88th clock cycle. So at 88 to 119 it will start doing the 2D Hadamard transform use of the 1D coefficients. So once it complete at 93 to 124 clock cycle, it will do the writing operation of buffer 2. So once it's 93 to 127, if it done, again buffer 3 also will start writing the same time of 8 location, whereas buffer 2 is 64 location. This 8 location buffer is needed to rearrange the inputs or to rearrange the coefficients into buffer 3. So once a buffer 3 96 to 127 it's happened, similarly the inverse Hadamard transform will start its operation at 96 to 127. So the inverse Hadamard transform also follows the same structure as the forward transform. So from 96 to 127 the 1D inverse Hadamard transform, again 128 to 159 the 2D inverse Hadamard transform. So 96 to 127 outputs will be stored at 101 to 131, and 128 to 157 output will stored in 133 to 164. So the final RAM, the output VGA RAM, will start storing the signals from 133 clock cycle. It means if the frame start at 0th clock cycle, it will start storing the watermark or transformed coefficients from 133 to 164th clock cycle. So for this, the buffer 1 signals are generated in this code. So using this, the 56 and 57, all these parameters are generated. Once the buffer 1 has stored, we need to go for the 1D Hadamard transform, which can be done in this code. Once the 1D Hadamard transform is completed, it will store in the buffer 2 the 1D Hadamard coefficients. Once it completed writing the 1D Hadamard coefficients, again the same module T2 will be used to compute the 2D Hadamard transform. Once the 2D Hadamard transform has completed, we need to write it into the third stage memory. So to write it into the third stage memory, again we need a control signals. As per we said, from 96 we need a control signal. These signals will be generated here, and based on this signal the third stage buffer will start storing the coefficients in the buffer T4. Once it starts storing, we need to do the inverse Hadamard transform. For the inverse Hadamard transform, again the control signals will be generated in this parameters, in this area. Once the inverse Hadamard transform control signals are generated, the inverse Hadamard transform will be done in the T5 Hadamard transform module. This T5 Hadamard transform module will already explained in the previous video. As once the inverse Hadamard transform of T5 is completed for the 1D operation, the buffer 64_2 T6 module will start storing the 1D inverse coefficient. Once the 1D inverse coefficient is completely stored, again the same T5 module is used to compute the 2D inverse Hadamard transform. So overall, if you look, we have only two 8-point Hadamard transforms to compute both in forward and inverse transform. So one 8-point Hadamard transform module T2 is used to compute 64.2D Hadamard transform. The module T2 is a 8.1D Hadamard transform. Similarly, this T5 module is a 8.1D inverse Hadamard transform, which is used to compute a 2D inverse Hadamard transform of 64 point. So once it is completed, the last stage buffer stores the coefficient. Also, it will generate the output addresses with output enable signal. This output address is used to store the proper order of the output signals. So we look on to the simulation. If you look after the start signal, we generated a inputs of D in is 1, 2, 3, 4 in the sequence order. So the clock count will be 0, 1, 2, 3. It will be there. So after 133 clock, or exactly at 133 clock, we'll get an output. This output signals, if you look, 133, 941, 1749. Actually, if you have a 64 point signal, we have to read first 1 and 33, next 9 and 41, next 7 and 49, next 25 and 57. In the same order, we will get a output 133, 941, 1749, 25 and 57. So in the same order, we will get a inverse coefficients. This x and y are inverse coefficients. After 1D and after 2D, again inverse. Again after 2D inverse, the outputs are read at 133 clock cycle. We'll look on to the elaborated schematic. This is the elaborated schematic. We'll move on to the synthesize. So once the synthesize has completed, we'll look on to the synthesize schematic. This is the synthesize schematic. So in the source, if you look, other than the Hadamard transform, we have only buffers. Buffers are nothing but a dual port RAM, or else as a single port RAM, or else RAM which is having a write and read address separately. So other than this, none of the modules are used.